Dr. Mohamed Noor, it's time to talk about you for a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So, you have a really fun and interesting and exciting and entertaining, but mostly educational YouTube channel called BioTrekkie Explains. Not only do you explain stuff, but you also talk about it with guests, which is very fun. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Explains and entertains.
I hope so. That's the goal. So I started the series back just shortly after the pandemic began. So I think the first episode was April 2020 or so, something like that. And most of what I have on the channel are these short videos that are between 6 and 12 minutes long, where I take, one episode of one of the various Star Trek series. So, for example, Next Generation: The Chase. And I'll pull out a little piece from that and say, hey, this tries to give an explanation for why there's so many humanoid aliens on Star Trek. Good connection to what we're talking about here. And let's break it down and talk about the real science, like what about this works well? What are parts of it that don't work well? And just try to deliver a lot of good science content that way. But, again, digestible. So like 6 to 12 minutes too, because people don't want an hour and a half of just science talk at them the whole time. So that's most of what's on there. And I've had on the order of one a month or so, but lately I've gotten a little bit more inconsistent because I've been busy with other things. But you mentioned guests. So a parallel series I have is called BioTrekkie with the Admiral, where my good friend and wonderful actress, Jane Brooke, who plays Admiral Katrina Cornwell in Star Trek Discovery seasons 1 and 2, will come on with me. And then we have longer discussions, because then it's actually a discussion instead of just me talking at you the whole time. We have a discussion about the science in a couple of episodes of Discovery seasons 3 or 4, the ones that she did not appear in. And for each of those, I try to bring 2 or 3 big science topics that either came up or that something about the episode reminded me of. Because sometimes there wasn't that much science to discuss, especially biology, because I don't do the physics. If there wasn't much biology in it, I'll talk about, we saw this interesting insect. Let's talk about insects more generally, or something like that.
It's biology.
It's biology that way, but I don't necessarily spend the whole time talking about the depiction in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we spend maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the episode talking about that, and then we flip it around. And I ask her to tell me about the production aspects of it, and she'll say, I like the scene where Michael Burnham and Captain Giorgio were walking down the hall chatting. I said, well, tell me, how does that actually work? Because we take turns being teacher versus student to each other, about me being the teacher for the science, her being the teacher for the production side. And they're wonderful discussions. I enjoy them so much, because it's just fun to chat with somebody about this. And she's so curious and inquisitive and intelligent. And she'll come up with these great analogies of that sounds like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God, I never would have said it that way, but that's brilliant. So we have so much fun with that. The last episode we had, so it was usually just me and Jane. The last episode we had, which we aired, I think on the 1st of May or something like that. We actually had a surprise guest come on board.
Boy.
Yeah, we didn't announce who it was ahead of time. And we actually had Bob Picardo, the EMH doctor from Voyager, show up, and he joined us for the discussion. We talked a little bit about biology and medical ethics, which is something that he's interested in as well. And again, fun chat.
Wait a minute. You mean Johnny Cab, aka the coach from the Wonder Years, aka Lewis Zimmerman, aka Alara's dad in the Orville?
All those people.
aka the cowboy from Inner Space.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, excellent.
Good knowledge.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I saw that in the drive-in theaters. Okay. Mohammed, let me correct your full and official title. You are the professor of biology and dean of natural sciences at Duke University, and a contracted science consultant for Star Trek Discovery, in my own words.
I thought he was the interim dean of arts and sciences.
That's what I thought too.
So that starts July 1st.
So
I haven't actually started that job yet, but yeah.
Talk about a nitpick.
I haven't taken on that job yet, but I'm very intimidated by it, but honored they actually are asked me to do it. So it's pretty exciting.
You got this.
Well, see, it's 38 departments. Basically, if you think of any of the classes you had in high school, like that equivalent department would then be under that, unless you had engineering in high school. But pretty much anything else like English, dance, ROTC, chemistry,
Spanish,
political science,
French.
Spanish,
Is English an art or a science?
An art.
So arts and sciences is broad.
Arts and humanities, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's three divisions. There's the natural sciences, which includes like biology, chemistry, computer science, things like that. There's the social sciences, which have like political science, sociology, things like that. And then there's arts and humanities, as Michael said.
Man, we should have talked about this from the very beginning of the show. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that English would be an art. Certainly none of the English I see or read on the internet. That's for sure. That is not artistic.
Well, it's an art to read that, though.
Okay.
Maybe the humanities division. So it's arts and humanities. So it's in that part.
Love it.
Our English
Also,
department at Duke is actually ranked in the top 10, I believe. Or if not top 10, then like very, very close to it.
if not top 10, top
like
5.
13. Yeah.
And Mohamed gave us some very good advice, Michael, when he said that he had such great discussions with Jane. And that reminds me that people are interested when they watch you doing something that you are interested in.